Our top story, one person is dead, other children sent to the hospital after a head-on car crash in Boone County. What police say went wrong. Then you'll only see it right here on 23 News as a high-speed police chase ends with a suspected murderer in handcuffs, how it all went down.
On the air, you're watching the next generation of news. The 23 News Update at 10 starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the 23 News Update at 10. I'm Whitney Martin. Mike Garrigan has this holiday off. Before we get to our top story, the Independence Day festivities are wrapping up in downtown Rockford, and thanks to our River Cam, here's a live look at the grand finale. This year's Sky Concert 2014 took about a month to plan the designs and to coordinate it. It goes right along with the music. Last year's finale was under 3 minutes. This year, it's about 3:15 with a shell exploding every second and a half. We're going to take you to the parade coming up later in the newscast. But there you go, right there, a live look at the finale. It's kind of cool to see there. We'll get back to our top story now. One person is dead, 5 kids taken to the hospital after a head-on crash in Boone County shuts down a busy highway. It happened just after 2 on Route 173 between County Line Road and the village limits of Capron. Police say the driver of a Kia veered into the wrong lane and struck the car going east. The names and ages of those hurt have not been released. Well, it's been a wild and scary week here in the state line as police catch a man wanted for 2 murders. However, it wasn't until after an intense and dangerous high-speed chase that Terrence Dottie was finally taken into custody. Officers say that chase started with Dottie when he was first spotted in Rockton. About an hour later, an Illinois State police officer says she saw him behind the wheel of a stolen Altima that he'd apparently been driving since Tuesday. The chase started near South Beloit, zigzagging back and forth through Wisconsin and Illinois, ending in western Beloit, where we're told Dottie crashed into a tree. 23 News reporter George Rodas shows us how that national manhunt came to an end.
Ours was the only camera rolling capturing this video of a high-speed chase showing what appears to be murder suspect Terrence Dottie running from police, reaching speeds of 100 miles an hour. Moments later, investigators say Dottie crashed the car stolen from one of his alleged victims into this tree on the lawn of a home in rural western Beloit.
So I thought it was a bad accident, so I yelled to my daughter to call 911. There were cops with guns drawn. So then I knew something was going on.
Dottie has been wanted for 2 murders since Monday. The first, Todd Hansmeyer. The 2 were reportedly best friends. The second, what seems to be a random killing, Tanya Bargman, murdered at a rest stop near Paw Paw. Police say it was her stolen car Dottie crashed.
He was airborne. He tried jumping the ditch of the neighbor's yard, and he went over and he sheared off a pine tree. Then he went through their chain link fence, and then he crashed into our tree here.
Investigators say Dottie led 6 different police departments on a wild chase that began in South Beloit. This cell phone footage sent to us by a viewer gives us a brief look at that high-speed pursuit. Police say Dottie was tased before finally being subdued and arrested. He was then transported to a hospital. Rockford Police Lieutenant Pat Hoy says he's relieved this dangerous alleged criminal is off the streets.
This is one more thing we don't have to worry about, be back in our mind that we're still looking for this gentleman.
Hoey says now that Dottie's been caught, all those police resources spent looking for him can be used to keep us safe during this holiday weekend. In Beloit, George Rodas, 23 News.
So really to have that come to an end. And Dottie was taken to a hospital in Janesville, and when released, he'll be in a Rock County jail before being taken to Winnebago County. Of course, we'll let you know when that happens. Meantime, a man is fighting for his life tonight after police say he was shot in the back while driving on Rockford's west side. Investigators say the victim was driving in the 3300 block of Alita Street when he was shot through the back windshield. He's listed in critical condition. The city of Oregon now has its own ambulance service. The fire district has taken on ATS medical services for 10 months. Before that, neighboring fire districts had to step in to help. Oregon is one of the few communities without a tax-supported service, so voters could decide the future of that through a referendum. Well, it was a great start to the holiday weekend weather-wise. We'll check in now with Chief Meteorologist Mark Henderson.
Big question is, Whitney, how long will it last? The answer to that looks like another 24 hours or so of tranquil weather before things do turn a little bit more unsettled. Really couldn't order up any better weather for us here on this 4th of July. Ideal viewing conditions for that beautiful fireworks show downtown. Only little flies in the ointment where you may have had some problems with fireworks down across southwestern and south central Minnesota, northwestern Iowa, maybe towards Sioux City, Iowa. You may have had some concerns there. Showers and thunderstorms there should fall apart as they encounter some drier air as they move east. We're not too concerned about that. We will see a few clouds here to start us off tomorrow. Those clouds do grow more numerous as the day progresses, and eventually, maybe by this time tomorrow night, we could have a couple of thunderstorms to deal with here ourselves. Sunday, same story. Maybe a storm here or there, but I do expect the vast majority of our weekend to be dry. We'll also, though, welcome back heat and humidity. We'll have those details coming up.
Definitely pool weather. Well, as was the case all over the United States today, Rockford celebrated our nation's birthday in grand style.
Happy 4th of July!
Oh, how cute are they? Police expected roughly 100,000 people downtown for tonight's parade and sky show. And the streets, as you can see right there, are packed. The fire department, local politicians, and armed forces veterans all getting the crowd pumped as the U.S. turns 238 years old.
I love it. I love America. I love being out here celebrating. I love the turnout. There's so many people here. It's just a great time to spend with your family.
Well, the man looking to take over as our state's governor was also in Rockford for this year's 4th of July parade. Republican candidate Bruce Rauner and his camp were in 7 different parades throughout the state. Governor Pat Quinn supporters are asking Rauner to release his full tax returns for the last 3 years.
This is just a political stunt as a way to try to avoid talking about the federal investigation into his anti-violence program and the state investigation into corruption and the cronyism in IDOT.
Coming to Rockford, Rauner and Governor Pat Quinn were in Arlington Heights for the annual 4th of July parade. It's one of the biggest events for politicians who are running for office to talk and connect with voters. Quinn says it was an honor.
Today is a day of celebration. We're lucky to have a democracy. It's a God-given gift. It's government of the people.
And as the United States of America celebrated, President Obama welcomed 25 of the country's newest Americans at a citizenship ceremony at the White House. These new citizens are members of the U.S. military who defended a country they hope to claim as their own someday. And on this Independence Day, 5 people were arrested during immigration protests near the U.S. Border Patrol station in Southern California. The area has become a battleground in the national debate over reform.
Demonstrators on both sides of the immigration debate spent their 4th of July just outside a border patrol station in the small town of Marietta in Southern California. Because of the backlog in Texas, hundreds of undocumented immigrants are expected to be bussed here for processing over the next month. An official with Immigration and Customs Enforcement says most of those bussed in will be released as they await their immigration hearing or deportation. Jackie Menenchek believes that will strain an immigration system that's already broken.
There's a right and wrong way. This is wrong.
Protesters first took to the streets here on Tuesday to block 3 buses from dropping off nearly 140 undocumented immigrants. Jose Maldonado took a similar journey to the U.S. last year. He wanted to escape the crime and violence in Honduras, so he paid smugglers to bring him to America. But he says they abandoned him. Immigration authorities in Texas then held him for a month before allowing him to live in California with his American-born aunt. His next hearing is set for January. It's unclear when the next group will arrive in Marietta. Because of safety concerns, immigration officials won't say. Begad Shaban, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, demonstrators were expecting busloads of undocumented immigrants to arrive today. So far this evening, none have showed up. Still to come on the 23 News update at 10, Hurricane Arthur slams into the Carolinas and continues to roar up the East Coast. Coming up, why families are breathing a sigh of relief tonight. Plus, a startling video captures a California highway officer punching a woman repeatedly. Next on 23 News, what police say the woman was doing before this all went down.